Alright everyone, there's a link in the description, archived of course, to an NBC contributor going ballistic over the fact that Trump, and is it half-mast or half-staff? I'm not sure exactly which term is actually used because I've heard both of them. Regardless, Trump has decided to lower the flags in the United States in recognition of like the El Paso and Dayton shootings, a lot of people dead, as a national tragedy. And the end date of that is August 8th. One NBC contributor decided that that was a Nazi reference. He's like, well, listen to it. I mean, it's like, weird numerology bullshit. August 8th, 8-8 means HH or Heil Hitler, and so this is a dog. I'm not saying that Trump is a Nazi, but the evidence speaks for itself. August 8th is Nazi Day. And it's like the most weird shit ever. It's like, I looked on, I go to the dark corners of the internet, so-called, where supposedly every Nazi in the world gathers, like 4chan. Suppose that's what CNN, I'm going to do a separate video on that. They write a hit piece. Oh, it's obvious what these sites are. There's repositories of hate and extremism. Okay, I saw no hateful extremist people remark upon this date. The only thing I see is an NBC contributor losing their shit, fucking pissing in their diapers because they think Trump is dog whistling. But here's the thing. Here's where you have to use a little reason and discernment. Unless you assume that Trump has white nationalist tendencies, which I don't, there's no reason to presume that this date was chosen for any reason other than it happens to be a couple days after the shootings. It's an appropriate date to end that recognition of national tragedy on. That's the only reason. It's like, what is he supposed to do? Have it a day shorter or longer to appease the superstitions of a bunch of liberals who have Trump derangement syndrome and are going to assume that he's doing like nationalist dog whistles or something? Like, fucking weird. By the way, I literally wrote the book on occult memetics. Look up occult memetics on Amazon and then my name, Tarl Warwick. You'll find the book. You should get a copy and read it. There's some legitimate, numeric and symbolic cartoon-based occultism, like Pepe the Frog and stuff. There's some legitimate occult symbology. As opposed to what you're getting from this contributor, it's like Babby's first gematria or something. Doesn't make any sense. By the way, August 8th and 9th do have occult overtones. They tie into the Manson case, oddly enough. You should watch the very good documentary Charles Manson Superstar, which was made by Nicholas Schreck, back in I think it was 1983 or 4, so it was a long time ago. It was a companion to the original copy of the Manson file, which was revised. The revised version's gone, and there's nothing displacing it, I think, yet, so there's a gray area there that kind of confuses me. I'm not sure exactly what Nicholas is doing now. I'd like to help promote his work, but he's got to give me a heads up as to what's happening, so to speak. Anyway, a very good documentary, and one of the first things pointed out, like in the pre-intro segment, is that August 8th and 9th, that particular span of time, is known for overlapping with great tragedy, specifically violent tragedies as well. Things of a spooky nature, like not just Manson, but I think Ed Gein was mentioned. The Tower of Terror, or something like that at Disneyland, and some weird shit like that. It's generally it's a spooky documentary because Manson rants a little bit more freely than normal. So if you want to watch crazy Charles Manson, like him amping himself up, you should definitely watch Superstar. It's an interesting documentary. Getting a little bit off topic there. I know my interest in the case has decreased over time too, but mainly because Manson's dead. He's not in jail anymore. I have my own feelings on that. As far as the 8-8, it means Heil Hitler thing, oh my goodness, I mean, how brain dead can you possibly get? There's literally no reason whatsoever to speculate that that's the case. It doesn't make any sense unless you presume that Donald Trump is some sort of he's got a Klan robe in his closet or something. The symbology may be there, but Trump, what are people supposed to do? Not do anything on the 8th of August for fear of being called a Nazi? Like tomorrow, should I not make my videos? Should I hang a Kekistani flag behind me? Dog whistle to my army of stormtroopers? Because apparently that's what YouTube is all about too. They're blaming YouTube for the Dayton and El Paso shootings. YouTube needs to do more. 4chan and 8chan need to stop existing. Trump is an evil, despicable racist dog whistling to armies of bigots. Well, none of these things are true. If you actually have a sane look at the world, it's all a bunch of bullshit. But propaganda speaks loudly. Tipper Gore was very popular in her era. Pat Robertson. That's what the Democrats look like right now. Pat Robertson should switch allegiances. He'd make more money. He should become like the White Al Sharpton maybe or something. There's there's no actual occultism here. There's no dog whistle either. The fact that August 8th was chosen has to do with its proximity to the events for which you are lowering the flag. It's pretty clear. I mean, again, Trump is not the sort of person who's going to say, oh, well, I don't want to offend people by choosing August 8th. Somebody might get the wrong idea. Look, he would have to be deranged and paranoid to believe that anyone would actually legitimately make the claim. NBC apparently believes so. NBC apparently is out in left field to the point where they no longer have even a slight grasp on reality. And it's propaganda, too. I mean, this is meant to disenfranchise Trump. And again, push that 1D narrative, the one-dimensionality that I've been speaking of for years. They have to keep him locked in one-dimensionality so that people that don't like him in a more general sense believe nothing positive about him can exist. That is, he has to be literally irredeemable. He has to be sort of a Satan figure. He has to be sort of like a Napoleon Bonaparte, to his enemies, figure who has no redeeming qualities. So he has to be fat, inept, slovenly. He has to be kind of psychopathic, warmongering, and despicable. He has to be hateful and unintelligent. He has to have a tracker. He has to be a wife beater and a child molester and everything else bad under the sun. He can't have any positive qualities under one-dimensionality. If for a moment they admit, oh, well, Trump did this and this was a good speech and this is a good characteristic about him. Here's the three things we actually like about Trump. It breaks the spell. It breaks the propaganda. That's about all. Peace out.